अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। संजय उवाच तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम् अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम् विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः। श्रीभगवानुवाच कुतस्त्वाकश्मलमिदम् विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यजुष्टमस्वर्ग्यम् अकीर्तिकरमर्जुन। क्लैब्यम् आस्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय्युपपद्यते क्षुद्रम् हृदय दौर्बल्यम् त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप। अर्जुन उवाच कथं भीष्ममहं संख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदन इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार्हावरिसूदन। गुरून् हत्वा हि महानुभावान् श्रेयो भोक्तुं भैक्षमपीह लोके हत्वार्थकामांस्तु गुरूनिहैव भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान्। न चैतद्विद्मः कतरन्नो गरीयो यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः। यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषाम तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः। कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः। यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। न हि प्रपश्यामि ममापनुद्यात् यच्छोकमुच्छोषणमिन्द्रियाणाम्। अवाप्य भूमावसपत्नमृद्धम् राज्यं सुराणामपि चाधिपत्यम्। संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशम् गुडाकेशः परन्तप न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम् उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः। तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासूनगतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः। न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तां तितिक्षस्व भारत। यं हि न व्यथयन्त्येते पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभ समदुःखसुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते। नासतो विद्यते भावो नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तस्त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः। अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति। अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत ययेनं वेत्ति हन्तारम् यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम् वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि।
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. So welcome you all for today's session on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. We are entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. So before we start this session, we will do the Mangala Charana, invoking the auspiciousness and the blessing of all the senior Vaishnavas and the Guru Parampara and Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanandanashalakaya Chakshururmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhischa Krupa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. A few minutes we'll do the kirtan and then we'll get started. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim tatkrupa tamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanya Ishwaram. So once again, welcome you all for today's class on Bhagavad Gita, the contents of the Gita summarized. So we see that, so let's recap what we did yesterday and then. So yesterday we have seen that Arjuna's reason for not willing to fight, and his reasons, some of the reasons that he put forward, which were actually based on Shastra only, that he was putting across, saying that how would I fight with my own family members? Will you really fight with your grandfather? Will you kill your own kinsmen? Will you kill your own relatives? He was kind of asking and probing with Krishna, saying that how can you justify killing, first of all? And this is all coming with the soft-heartedness of Arjuna actually. You see the contrary, what we have seen, that Duryodhana never bothered to kill anybody for that matter. So for his own whimsical reasons and to expand and to control everybody, that kind of a nature has not brought that soft-heartedness. But unlike that, Arjuna had this soft-heartedness, and because of that, he had developed that compassion. But is it the right kind of a compassion that he has to do as per his varna and ashrama? Is what Krishna is going to explain at later point of time. But he had compassion as one and enjoyment. He was telling that whether I win this war or lose this war, am I really going to enjoy? Because if none of them are there, with whom I will enjoy? So that is what next argument he made. And he has given the argument saying that there will be destruction of family traditions. Obviously, yes, when all the men in the Kurukshetra war who have assembled are killed, then who is going to follow the family tradition? And the women will get polluted because if men are not there, they are not protected. So they get polluted. So the Varna Sankara will happen. So all these arguments are right arguments. But again, Krishna takes him to a different level of understanding, which is what we have seen. Observing things in the right perspective is what we need based on your varna and ashrama. So that is what is currently lacking in most of us, and that is what is lacking at this point of time with Arjuna. Okay, so the last argument he made is that I will be getting the sinful reactions for the actions that I am making because I am doing something sinful. So that was his perception. So now, in one way or the other, he came to a point that all these arguments are not being accepted by Krishna by his gestures. At the same time, he himself was not able to come to a conclusion. So that confusion has come, the bewilderment has come, and the indecision was there. And this is where when we also come in that kind of a state, we also need to do what Arjuna is going to show you by example. And that is the beauty about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is spoken in the battlefield. And we are also in the battlefield. In one way, we are having our own battles based on your time, place, and circumstance. But we are also in the battlefield. We are fighting so many things. We are fighting with our own mind. We are fighting with our family members because we are not able to gel with them, with the society. So ultimately, we see that now slowly and steadily, now Arjuna is going to surrender to Krishna, and that is what we will see in this chapter. And how does Krishna react to this situation is also very important. So you have seen that in the previous class, there was uncertainty, and life may be cramped with responsibilities and pressing issues, but attendant to such demand should not be at the expense of quality spiritual introspection. In your life also, you might come across a situation where you have to make some decisions, but that decision should not compromise on your spiritual introspection. And that is where Arjuna has not done that. Not done that in the sense he has done the introspection, and that is where he is going and taking the shelter of Krishna. Now, this, as it is told, that this Bhagavad Gita was heard by all the people who are there, but not many have reacted to it in the way that Arjuna has reacted. So, if I see that there are so many people in the society who would like to get this kind of introspection, spiritual introspection, but they are not endeavoring to do that. So in your situation, I congratulate all of you for taking that step to introspect. That spiritual introspection is the essential thing. And yesterday we have also emphasized on one thing. What is the difference between human beings and animals? The ahara nidra bhaya maithunancha samanya medat pasubirana dharmoi tesham adhiko vishesho dharme nahina pasubi samana. So if this dharma, which is mentioned here as spiritual introspection, if you do not have that spiritual introspection, there is no difference between ourselves and the animals. And Shastra says that we are like Dvipada Pashu. And if you wanted to put it in plain English, you are well dressed. I am well dressed, sophisticated, because you are doing the ahar nidra and bhaya maithunancha sophisticated way. So well dressed, sophisticated, two-legged animal. So that is all we are. Unless until you do this spiritual introspection and go beyond your this four things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, there is no good. And Bhagavad Gita is meant for the people who wanted to elevate themselves and wanted to do this spiritual introspection. Unfortunately, the chronic disease of modern man is the excuse of no time when it comes to some soul searching or spiritual introspection. This is the most common thing that I ask. So I go for book distribution and I ask, why don't you buy this book? It is a life changer for you, and it has impacted my life, and why don't you also read? They say that there is the time. So I'm so busy with this, my office work and my family responsibility, there is no time. So if Arjuna can take time in the middle of the battlefield, and Krishna can tell that to him at that juncture, what about you and me? Are we in a better do we have more responsibility than Arjuna? Or are we? So the point what we are making is that one has to take time instead of going into the rat race of making money, making children, and taking care. We are not saying that one should not take that responsibility, but not at the cost of your spiritual introspection. Okay, so the bewilderment also, if you see, when one lacks an understanding of his spiritual identity, his relationship with God, and the critical purpose behind this world, one inevitably becomes disturbed and frustrated by life's challenges. Why we are frustrated? Why we are confused? And why we are not able to make decisions in our life? Because we don't know who we are. Our spiritual identity, we are not unaware of the spiritual identity. Hardly anybody would say that, who are you? And he would say that my name is so and so. I belong to so and so community. My parents are so and so. But this is all bodily identification. What is your spiritual identification? That is what Krishna is going to give you today. So the turning point in Arjuna's life and in our life also came when he thought, my own endeavor, my own thinking is not of good help, is not helping me anyway. So let me take the shelter of a higher authority. And that is what we have seen. Our modern education is not providing us to take the shelter of higher authority. Whether the higher authority is basically, we will see that today, it is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And primarily, when you take the shelter of the higher authority, then we are in the process of Aroha Pantha. That means in the descending process we are there, and that is the right kind of a process that we need to follow, and that is what we are going to see. So I welcome you all again for this wonderful course on Bhagavad Gita, which will open up and clarify all the spiritual doubts and the doubts that you generally have about yourself, who is the Supreme Lord, and what is my relationship, what is Kala, what is Prakriti, everything. So today's chapter, the contents of the Gita summarized. The beauty about this chapter is that Krishna is giving you a bird's eye view about everything. Everything that is going to be covered in the next 700 slokas, minus the first chapter slokas, he is going to give you, summarize everything what is going to come. It's like a preview, or it is a trailer for what is going to come. So that's the beauty about it. It is appropriately acronymed by the name called Gita. G stands for Guru, and I stands for identity, and T stands for the two dharmas that you need to follow, and A stands for Atman. So can I request all of you to open up your videos, so I can really relate that I am speaking to somebody who is really interested, not that I am speaking to some unknown people. And I thank you all, the Vijay Menon Prabhu and Chandrasekhar Prabhu and Aditya Prabhu, Usha Mataji, Anand Gaud Prabhu, Pavan Kumar, and I request all of you please. So not for any other purpose. Unfortunately, we have been taking classes earlier where we used to sit in a hall and we used to do it, and there used to be an interaction. Coming to this online, we are not that inclined, but again, it's a blessing in disguise in one way. So we are using this opportunity. Some people who are not in the same locality, but still they are joining from, there are people who are joining from Saudi also. I got to know. So that's really nice that we are able to come together on this occasion. And Gopika Kapra Mataji, thank you very much. You have been responding so nicely, and all of you. And so please do respond over the chat. And if you feel that you need to stop me anywhere, I would say that we will not stop you to unmute yourself. Ashok Prabhu, please take care that you unmute everybody. Unless and until there is a disturbance, you can mute everyone so that they can interrupt me while I'm speaking, so that it's a kind of a dialogue instead of monologue. Okay, so that's about what we are going to discuss, and there are 4 topics that we are going to discuss, which is what is covered as part of the acronym Gita. And the first one is the Guru. The Guru stands for, so what are the topics that we are going to cover as part of the Guru? So initially, see, if you see what has happened, Krishna has not spoken so far. He's just been listening. He's just been smiling. Oh, okay. See, in our life also, if you think Guru will come in my life automatically, that's not going to happen. You have to go. You have to put 2 steps forward. Then Krishna or your Guru will come in your life. Arjuna, Krishna did not speak anything, and he was just keeping quiet, and he was saying, okay, but you are saying that your arguments are correct, it is as per the Shastra, so be it. So why should I really bother? So unless and until you kind of show interest, Guru is not going to come in your life. Yes, they are very merciful, but again, unless and until you are willing to do it, to take his shelter, he is not going to come in our life. So please make note of that. So Ashok Prabhu, you opened up everybody to unmute, right? Yeah, please do that, so that if anybody wanted to interrupt me in between, they can. Okay, so first thing what Krishna does, when he took the Guru's stand, then Krishna chastises Arjuna. How he chastises? Lovingly he chastises, but he kind of puts in what is his current status, and then he starts revealing whatever he is supposed to reveal. So, but Arjuna's indecision again comes back. He is still not convinced with the chastisement of Arjuna. He still feels that what he is doing is correct. But at one point of time, he kind of surrenders to Krishna. So what was the situation? What was the kind of mental state in which he was there? And what kind of qualifications one should have to surrender is what is exhibited by Arjuna. And that's very important for us. Okay. And there is a distinction between who is a Kripana and who is a Brahmana, and who friend versus a disciple. Till that time, Arjuna was treating Krishna as his friend, but now he kind of now changed the kind of a position that he need to give to Krishna has changed now, and he became a disciple, and Krishna has become his Guru. So that is what we will see, and so then we will discuss the rest of the things coming forward. Any questions so far anybody has? Please don't feel to interrupt me. Okay, so Reddy, yeah, I'm not getting the full name there. So kindly write your name properly. Now it says 562023. So that's very difficult to understand. Okay, go ahead. Whoso has raised their hand? A small boy, Reddy. Yeah, can you unmute him, Prabhu? Ashok Prabhu, quickly we'll take one question. So probably for one module we'll take one question. Ashok Prabhu, can you unmute him? Okay, so probably we'll check out if there might be some technical issue why he is not able to unmute. Okay, I have asked you to unmute.
Sir, what is Kripana and Brahmana?
That is what is the thing that we are going to discuss. Okay. Thank you, very good question. So keep park that question. We are going to discuss. Definitely all these 5 points which have been put forward here, we will discuss each and everything. Okay. So now if you see, determined not to fight, but simultaneously torn and confused, Arjuna approaches Krishna I am in dire need of guidance. So he humbly submits, please enlighten me so I can mitigate my miserable condition. He was crying, literally crying, because never in his life he would leave his Gandiva and shiver in the war or in the battlefield. He has the potential to conquer, and he has conquered in the Virata when he was in the Ajnata state of they have gone for 12 years of exile and 1 year of Ajnatavasa. In that Ajnatavasa, these Kauravas tried to attack that kingdom where these Arjuna was there and the other Pandavas were hiding incognito. So then he went and fought the war, and he's almost like basically he defeated everyone. So he has the potential, but in this condition he is in a very miserable condition, and that is where then he has taken the shelter of Krishna. Though Arjuna's example, we learn the first fundamental step in spirituality. One must approach a guru who comes in a authentic lineage of teachers who has mastered the spiritual art. You cannot go and submit to everybody. Then they will take you for a ride. Because in the name of gurus, they are cheaters all around. As I told you yesterday, there are a lot of gurus who are saying that forget about all these gods. I am that God. Why are you going and taking any other person's shelter? So Guru is a representative of the Supreme Lord. He cannot become a God. As I told you yesterday, if somebody says that, the Guru says that I am a GOD God, what is he? He is not GOD God. What is he? Yesterday I told you that. DOG dog. So one should understand this. Never Srila Prabhupada said that I am the Supreme Lord. Everybody, you come and pay obeisances to me and consider me only the God. So that is the injustice that he is doing for his position that people are giving. So don't get popped up just because you got a position and people are following you. Unfortunately, the people wanted to cheat and you wanted to get cheated. The problem is not just with the other person. It is also with you, because you have the 4 defects we have seen yesterday. Please review the defects that we have. So because of that, we are getting illusion. We are getting cheated, and so this is the problem, right? So we'll start the first sloka, but where Shri Bhagavan Vacha. This is where Krishna starts speaking now. Kutastva kasmalam idam vishame samapustitam anaryajastam asvargyam akirti karana Arjuna. So he says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. So he is chastising him. As a guru, you have the right to chastise your disciple. There are a lot of people who says that why so-and-so guru whom I have taken shelter, why is he chastising me? See, there are a lot of gurus who do not wanted to speak softly, do not wanted to tell the truths, and because they feel they feel that if I chastise him and tell the truth, he will leave and go to some other guru. So that kind of a fear these gurus have got. So for that reason they don't do it. Here Krishna is straightforwardly saying, you are talking, you are coming from such a nice lineage, but you are talking like a layman. You don't know the value of life. That's what he's saying. Now, this is where one of the key verses, if you ask me, what is the key verse in Bhagavad Gita? This is where the key verse is. So I would request all of you to focus, give your utmost attention to this sloka. If you understand this sloka, there is so much that you can gain out of these classes, 18 days classes. So, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha prachyami tvam dharma sammuda cheta Yashreyasya nishchitam brumi tanme shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. So, can anybody unmute and recite this sloka for me? Can you raise your hands? Whoso can do it? Anybody from the audience? Gopika Kabra Mataji, can you do it?
Rohit Verma raised his hand, Prabhu.
Supriya Mataji has raised her hand, I think. Okay, so a lot of people have raised their hands. So we'll give opportunity to Supriya Mataji. Can you unmute her, one of you? I know I'm spending some time. I'll hardly left half an hour to this discussion, but still we will not be in a hurry because just we might take this chapter tomorrow also, because this is it's a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. You cannot just complete it. So we'll take some time. So did somebody unmute or I have to only do it?
No, Prabhu. Actually, Mataji lowered her hand.
Oh, okay.
Can raise her hand. We can do it.
Rajesh Prabhu, can we unmute him? Rajesh.
Yes, Prabhu, done too.
Rajesh,
Hello.
go ahead.
Radhe Krishna sir.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Can you recite the sloka?
I will try my best. Sir.
Yeah, that's okay.
कापर्ण्य दोषोपहस्त स्वभाव प्रच्छामि त्वमाव धर्म समुद्ध चेतः यच्छेयशानिश्चित ब्रहीम तन्मे शिष्यस्तहं साधिमत्वं प्रपन्नम्.
Excellent, Prabhu, excellent. Fantastic. So in our life, what happened is that we kind of fear for everything. So take care to unmute, mute everyone, Prabhu. So basically, we are fearful for so many things. So that is not making us go forward in our spiritual journey also. So don't be afraid. So you need to really do things, right? Because of our educational system, we are not really getting the right kind of a education. Actually, we'll discuss about that. I might get depressed. So right. So what is mentioned here is that there are few words. Karpanya. Let me read the translation first. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of the miserly weakness. Miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. There are few things that we need to take from this sloka. One is that Arjuna has accepted that what is his problem. He has identified and accepted. In our case also, what we see is that most of the time we don't identify ourselves what is our problem. We don't know. We are ignorant. But at least one step is that know what is your position. What is your problem? Arjuna could do that. The second thing is that he has taken the shelter of the Guru, and here Krishna is taking the Guru's stand. He is taking the shelter of the Guru and he is asking, again very important, he is not demanding, he is asking Krishna, please accept me as your disciple. Very important. You cannot go and demand a Guru. You can request him, humbly pray for him that please accept me as your disciple. Nowadays, what is happening in the modern society, Guru means somebody who can come to your beer party, he can come to your wine party, he can smoke along with you. This is the kind of lecturers, this is the kind of professors that we have. So there is no real identification who is a Guru. We will see that down the line. What is the qualification of a Guru? What is the qualification of a disciple? In detail, we will discuss. So here, the miserly weakness. So he has accepted that there is some grave problem that he is facing, and that weakness is Kripana. Karpanya dosho. Karpanya comes from a root word called kripana. Kripana is a person. It is in Hindi. What do you call kripana as? Can somebody say in the chat? What is the equivalent word for kripana in Hindi, or for that matter in Telugu? Anybody could say that? No, not at all. Kripana comes. Kripana means in Hindi we call it as makki choose, kanjus. In Telugu we call him as what is that? In Telugu we call not able to recall. What is Pisinari? Thank you, Krishna Prabhu. Nice, Krishna Prabhu from Hyderabad. Yeah, I remember. So Pisinari. So why Arjuna is saying that I am a kripana, I am a kanjus? Can somebody tell me what is the mental state which tells him that I am a kripana? Why he is not a kanjus? How is that he is a kanjus? Yeah, think. See, my intention is not to just pour down all that slokas to you. Start thinking. Why do you think? Why do you think that Arjuna is saying that I am a kripana? Okay. Choose his family. Okay. Because he is killing his own family members for his own sake. Okay. Willing not to lose anything. Okay. That's a good response. I'm happy. Thank you, Nilesh Prabhu. And yeah, Venkateshwara. So you see that why the Acharyas comment about this, about Arjuna calling himself as Kripana. If you see a person is called a kanjus, what are the kind of characteristics a kanjus has? We have seen it so many times in so many movies also, especially in our Telugu movies. We see that Kota Srinivasa Rao, in one of the movies, I was a child, I used to see this movie called Ahana Pellanta. In that person is so kanjus that he will not wear the right kind of a dress and spend for himself. Neither he will give anything for his children or for his family members. But he will all keep that in his possession. So, Kripana is a person, a kanjus is a person who has all that. What is required is there, but he will not use it. So, Arjuna has come to a state where he has the capability of taking decisions and doing things, but still he is not able to do it. That means he is in a state of kripana, right? So a guru, he is very important in our life because he will give you the right perspective and the right kind of instruction based on your time, place and circumstance. And interacting with you on a personal level. See, there are a lot of people who say that, why should I really bother about following any particular guru? Bhagavad Gita is there, 700 slokas are there, I'll just read it. And I can make my own decisions. Why should I really bother about getting attached to somebody first of all? So, this is what it is. Our educational system also, earlier it was Gurukula. Guru, the word came from a root word called Guru. Gurukula. So they used to impart knowledge based on the kind of eligibility that they have and the kind of qualities that they have. Because by birth, everybody has got certain qualities. Based on that, you need to give education. But nowadays, what is happening? So we are going in mass production, like the mass production. Everybody wanted to do BTech. Okay, come. You join this college, and 100 people will be there in the class. One person will give some lectures. That's all. It's mass production. It's like they are commodities. So that is what has happened to our modern education system. Our Gurukula system was based on your capability. See, there is no distinction that you are high, you are low. No, based on your capability, the guru used to find out, yes, this person has got this capability, so let me impart this knowledge such that he can really best utilize his life. So that is the environment. Now if you say, a horse is there and an ox is there. So you say that ox should be given education such that it will run like a horse. Is it possible? So unfortunately, our education system has been imparting knowledge like this. So that is where we need to understand that one has to really come out of this kind of situations. So, and somebody was asking what is the difference between Reddy Prabhu was asking what's your full okay, we'll see your full name anyways. So basically, what is the difference between Brahmana and Kripana? These two are opposite words. So if the characteristics of a Brahmana and the characteristics of Kripana are totally opposite. A Brahmana is always in the giving mode. He doesn't want to keep anything for himself. So that is the kind of, you say, we also know that yesterday we discussed about Guru Dronacharya. Drona was a true Brahmana in one way. Why he was true Brahmana? Because he knew that Drupada has did yajna and he has got two children. One of his Dushyadumna was we got by the mercy of by praying to Shiva, he's got Dushyadumna, and he was taken birth just because to kill Drona. He knew that, but still, when Dushyadumna approached him to impart the martial arts, he imparted with no apprehension. So that is the quality of a Brahmana. He gives. He doesn't have any personal motivation for doing anything. So now a Kripana is an opposite word. Okay. Does it answer your question, Prabhuji? Can you raise your hand? Reddy Prabhu? Okay, thank you. So that is the difference between a Kripana and a Brahmana. So that's what we have seen. So let's move forward. Material activities is the source of perplexity for everyone. Who is a Kripana or a miserly person? We have seen that. Therefore, it behoves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. Right now, we do not have any purpose of our life. Or we have some purpose, but it's not worth it. Because unless you identify what is your purpose in life, that means you are still acting like a Kripana only. So, because you have the capability, God has given you the faculty and He has given you this human form of life, which is the rarest for human. See, there are 84 lakh species. That out of these 84 lakh species, you have chosen to get this human form of life. How rare it is, just imagine. We never know that we'll get this human form of life in the next life or not. Unless and until you do the right kind of an endeavor, you will not get the human form of life also. So that's the danger. Now somebody may ask, lot of people may say, who has seen the next life is there or not? Let's enjoy this life. But what if, then somebody has asked the same question to Srila Prabhupada. Then Srila Prabhupada answered. So what are we doing as devotees? As people who are interested in spiritual activities? We are enjoying our life. We take the right kind of a food which will nourish our mind, body and soul. And we kind of follow some habits which are getting up early in the morning and reading certain right kind of books and take care of your family very nicely. Not that just we are giving up. And the right kind of a profession we choose. We don't go into the rat race. And we know, and accordingly, we kind of honestly live our life. And we take the Supreme Lord's name and we chant, we eat nice prasad, and we are very happy. So, and this is the kind of lifestyle that we are following. Now, so what about you who was asking, who just wanted to not believe in God and just do all nonsensical activities and do sense gratification? So then if suppose in the fag end of your life you knew that God really exists and whatever you are being doing, that also counts, then what will happen to you? You will be nowhere. You made your decision not to follow, then you are nowhere and you lost the golden opportunity because you acted like a kripana. You acted like a miserly person. So, yeah. Achintya Reddy. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Achintya Reddy. Your full name is Aditya Reddy Shetty, Prabhu. Okay. Very nice. Thank you. So, yeah. So, qualification to become a disciple, qualification to become a guru is also what we will be seeing. And we have seen it to some extent. So, we will stop in 5 minutes probably or conclude this particular session and then we'll take up tomorrow. So Vedas form the perfect and complete knowledge, because we said that you have to follow 3 things, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and out of which Vedas also, somebody was asking, what is this Guru, Sadhu and Shastra? We'll discuss about that. And yesterday we talked about the importance of Vedas. Can somebody remember why we are, what is the importance of Vedas and what was the why did we say that Vedas and what is the word that we have given for Vedas? One of the pramans. Yeah, mother, yes. Vedas are like our mothers who can tell you about who our Supreme Father is. But we have also given one other Veda Mata. Okay, that's good. But praman wise, see, there are 3 pramans. If you review yesterday's class, you will see that there are 3 pramans. And what is this? Shastra comes under what praman? Shabda praman. Very nice. Prem Raja Prabhu, thank you very much. So it comes under Shabda praman. Shabda praman because it came from a word, because earlier Vedas were called Shruti. Shruti means that which they could hear. And because from the Guru Shishya Parampara, Guru used to tell and Shishyas used to listen and they used to get everything. And there was no problem. But the Vedavyas, 5,000 years back, he knew that in Kali Yuga, people do not have that good memory. And they are short-lived. And they are manda buddhi, so because of that, our limitation of Kali Yuga people, Vedavyas has compiled everything in a written form and brought it as Vedas, though. But earlier also all the Vedas were there, but they were in Shruti form. They used to come in only oral transcription, right? So the Shabda Praman is one of the Pramans based on which we should take decisions. Definitely, yes. And who is a genuine guru? That's the question that we have. A genuine guru is a guru or a person who is following his own guru. That means he has a disciplic succession. He is not saying that please forgive me for one of the things that I wanted to state here. Earlier I was, when I was in IIT Delhi, when I was in Seattle, in Microsoft, Jiggu Vasudev has come. Jiggu Vasudev, Isha Foundation person. And I asked him one question that time. You got some knowledge and you are trying to say that this is what it is. How did you get this knowledge? Then he said, I do not have any guru. And he said that there is no need of a guru. And similar kind of an argument proposed by Jittu Krishnamurti. Jittu Krishnamurti is called JK. So he said, you don't need to have guru in your life. Why are you depending upon somebody? You can introspect and you can become your own guru. And the same question was posed to Srila Prabhupada that time. This is what they are saying. You don't need a guru, and this person is kind of giving classes and writing books saying that one need not have a guru. Now Srila Prabhupada asked, he is telling that one should not have a guru, but what is he taking the position as? To tell that one should not have a guru, he is taking the position of a guru to tell you that you don't need a guru. So what bogus it is. Just see, it doesn't really make sense, right? So a guru should come from a disciplic succession, and the knowledge that we are talking about is not a mundane knowledge, and it has to come from Sri Krishna only, and the disciplic succession has to be there. See, we think that by reading with our own faculty, whatever we have, we can get things. Not true. And slowly and steadily you will realize that this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, take 700 slokas, do whatever endeavor for 20-30 years, you will not get the essence of Bhagavad Gita, neither you can practically apply. Because this has to come from mercy of the Supreme Lord. There are a lot of atheists who take to Bhagavad Gita and hardly they get any benefit. So there are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita that are there in the market. So many. Can you show me one person who has become a devotee after reading those Bhagavad Gitas? I have read so many. I have not become. But now, after reading this particular Bhagavad Gita, which is coming from the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, I can guarantee you that if you put the right endeavor and get the right kind of a framework, when you read this Bhagavad Gita, you will become a devotee. And what is the qualification of a devotee? We will see that what is that he is going to gain out of becoming a devotee. One is that definitely, without any hesitation, I can tell you based on my personal experience, that you will be at peace with yourself. You will not be confused to take decisions in your life. That is to start with. And there are a lot of things that you will be gaining. But coming to this Guru Parampara, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So Sadhu are the previous Acharyas, previous Gurus that you have. And Shastra is basically our pillars. What for us is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are our pillar Shastras. So we have to depend upon them. Now why are we discussing about this Guru, Sadhu and Shastra? Why? Because in your life also, you might have come across a Guru, maybe he is a genuine Guru, but still he might tell something based on his own understanding, not through realized knowledge coming from the disciplic succession. So there might be occasions when the Guru is also at fault. So you cannot accept somebody like that. So suppose somebody says that how you are saying that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, why not any other person? Then for that matter, any question that comes to, it has to go through a litmus test, and that litmus test is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. It has to pass through all the three. What is my Guru saying? Is it aligned with the previous Acharyas, previous Sadhus? And is it also aligned with what is mentioned in the Shastra? If Shastra is not agreeing and other two are agreeing, don't accept it. It has to be accepted. Litmus test has to pass through all three. So that's all about. Okay. So probably two other things I will discuss. So if the disciple has doubts about the value of Krishna consciousness, the bona fide spiritual master must dissipate those doubts by the superior knowledge. So a guru, who is a real guru, what is the qualification of guru? He should have the right kind of a knowledge. That's the prerequisite. It is also mentioned that a human being from any social or economic status can become a bona fide spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Science of Krishna is, if you know the root cause of everything, then you will know about what all things are happening. So the root cause of all what we are seeing here, who has created us, why things are happening in this way. Background, there is somebody who is doing it. If we discussed yesterday, if there is a creation, there is a, can you fill in the blanks? If there is a creation, there is a
destruction.
Okay. If there is a creation, there is a creator. No, not destruction. Okay. Yeah. If there is a law, there is a, if suppose there is a law, that The law cannot just come like that. There must be a lawmaker. Very nice, Vinod Prabhu. Yeah. So if there is a creation, there is a creator. If there is a law, there is a lawmaker. And so similarly, somebody has created us. So we are not created. So that must, somebody should have been created us. So similarly, everything here has not just come by Big Bang theory. There is a creator for it. And systematically things are happening. You know, you can also tell after 100 years where the moon would be and where the particular planet should be. So many things. So it's very scientific, and it has been, there is a law that is governing the universe also. And there is a lawmaker for that also. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. A guru doesn't talk nonsense. He talks about Krishna's instructions only. He doesn't talk about these days they are saying that a guru should be somebody who can just interact with the level where the disciple is there, or the person is there who has come to follow him. No, just because they are saying that, so if I wanted to go at his level, he is a drunkard, so will you also go and drink with him? So these kind of things are going on, so instruct everyone to follow the orders of the Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So that is the end in mind for the Guru also. So we will probably stop in next few minutes. So we'll take up some questions. What is the duty of a Guru? We have already seen that. The duty of a bona fide Guru is to connect the disciple to Krishna. So that is his end goal. So because he is just a what? Can somebody tell me in a mundane word what is a Guru? Real Guru? He is like a postman. He is just coming to deliver the message of Krishna. He is not coming here to proclaim that I am that. But so everybody come and bow down to me. I am. There is no need to go. So that's not the kind of mindset that a guru should have. The word of Krishna is param vachaha, the last word in knowledge. Whatever Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, it is paramam vacha. There is nothing beyond that. So 5,000 years back, Bhagavad Gita has come. It will be there now. It has been there 5,000 years back, and it will be there for the next whatever millennium. So that is the beauty about. If you take any other book, take any book, novels that have been written, there are big movies also made out of it. But how many days does this books live? But now imagine Bhagavad Gita is coming from, it is coming from eternity, and Krishna is going to reveal that this knowledge, what I am imparting you, Bhagavad Gita knowledge, I have given it to Vivaswan, who is the sun god. And what is this sun god? You are talking about the millions of years back, you have given this knowledge. So yeah, then he explains about that. Okay, so this is very important because a lot of people get confused about certain things. What is Guru Parampara? What are the authentic sampradayas? You might say that these people are kind of very choosy. No, as per Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that this knowledge, whatever I am going to give, this has come from Guru Parampara only, disciplic succession only. And since it is broken, I am trying to give it to you now again. So that's very important. Now, what are the 4 authentic sampradayas? That Krishna has imparted this knowledge originally to Lord Brahma, Sri Lakshmi Sampradaya, Lord Shiva, Rudra Sampradaya, and 4 Kumaras. It was imparted. This is called Kumara Sampradaya. And the prominent acharyas who have propagated this were Madhvacharya from the Brahma Sampradaya, Ramanujachari from the Sri Lakshmi Sampradaya, or Sri Sampradaya, they call it as, and Rudra Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami, and Dimbakacharya from Kumara Sampradaya. So now what we are saying is that whatever we are telling, only just follow, others are all not to be followed. What is told is that anything coming from these authentic sampradayas you can follow. Don't follow anybody who is saying that I got this knowledge and you just have to follow me. Ask yourself, is there any lineage for them? So then only you follow. So that's what we wanted to say. And coming to this our Sampradaya, which is what is highlighted here, which is coming from Lord Brahma to Narada, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we are numbering it. He is the third person in the recipient to get this knowledge. And the fifth person, 22nd person was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then the 31st was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then it came to Srila Prabhupada. So we have an authentic lineage. You take any Bhagavad Gita book. One other thing I would like to request all of you. You need to have a physical copy of Bhagavad Gita. Because reading from a book is always important. The way I do my sadhana of Swadhyaya of reading Bhagavad Gita is I make some important points. The questions that I don't understand, I mark it there. Some people say, how can you really mark anything on Bhagavad Gita? It is Krishna. But see, don't be dogmatic. I would say that for myself, there might be some opinions of others, but what I have followed, which makes much sense for me, is that you should use this manual. There are a lot of people who get Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and worship these, and hardly reading happens there. I know how many of you have got Bhagavad Gita in your home. How many of you have read? So take this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Make your daily routine to read one sloka at least. Look, you need not see based on your circumstances. You need to. But ask me, I really read Bhagavad Gita every day because it's like a perennial river. It doesn't get dry. The more you read, more you get to reveal yourself. Unlike any mundane movie or book, you read once, you just throw it. How many times you have read the same novel twice? You hardly read more than once or twice at the most. But Bhagavad Gita, it's a life. To understand everything that is there in Bhagavad Gita, your lifetime is not sufficient. So much you can get out of it. Similarly, Bhagavatam. Okay, so that's and what I was requesting is that please order your copies of Bhagavad Gita. If you do not have them, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And because we are going to take this for 18 days, and after that also you might continue with us. You are most welcome. We will discuss that in more greater detail. So order your copies of Bhagavad Gita, which are the link is there in your group. So it costs you like 300-350 rupees. But along with that, you get some photographs of Lord Krishna and Prasadam, and also you get the chanting, which is the one of the prominent processes that we will be following. We'll discuss that. So please place the order, and we are dispatching them, and they are also reaching. Not that because of the lockdown you are not getting, you are also getting it. So please place your orders, and it will be delivered. And if any case, if you have any questions or concern, you can reach out to any of us. You can also call me. My number is also there. I will always be more than happy to help you. Okay. So that is what we have for today. And tomorrow we will going to discuss about the next 3 topics. The next topic would be the identity. Very, very, very important topic, because you need to know who you are. What is your real identity? What is how many you have this body, you have soul. I cannot really make. So let us discuss that in very scientific way. What is your real identity? So that is what we are going to discuss tomorrow. And I thank you all for this, giving me this wonderful opportunity. And if you have any questions, please do put it across so that we can discuss it. Yeah. So let me. Yeah, Raghunath Puri Prabhu, can you help us in unmuting? Ashok Prabhu, you can spotlight to remove my spotlight. Let me see if I can. Okay. So please keep asking questions.
Madhavi Mataji, please ask your question. You are unmuted. Please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mother.
Prabhuji, I wanted to know how can we identify the purpose of life? Our purpose of life.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, to know the purpose of life, one has to have the right kind of a knowledge. And if you see Arjuna's condition, our condition is more or less the same. We are also confused. We are also, I would say that some of you are not crying, but you should cry because we are not living life fully. We are not able to utilize the life fully. And this unique opportunity we are not able to. Arjuna he was weeping. And he was weeping because he realized that what is his real condition, what is his real character, what kind of characters he has imbibed. And so, first of all, if you wanted to know the purpose of your life, understand what is your present condition. And once you understand that is the right kind of a platform, see, if you wanted to sow a seed, can you sow a seed on a rock? Can the seed grow on a rock? No. What kind of environment you need? You need a nice moisture environment or a mud where you can put the seed and regularly water. Regularly water, then it will become a tree. So in our life also, if you wanted to know the purpose of our life, you need to understand first and foremost thing, accept your current condition. And once you accept your current condition, then Guru will come in our life. He will sow the seed such that you get the right kind of a knowledge where you can make decisions in your life and make you can know your purpose in your life and pursue that purpose. Knowing the purpose in life is not good. You need to also know how to achieve that purpose in your life. And for that, regular watering is required. And that is where association of the devotees also is required. Because what happens is that if you are not having this association, why there is so much stress? For the reason is there. Unless and until you have the right association, you will get distracted. It is obvious after listening to this class, you got motivated, you got enthusiastic in your life. But slowly down the line, in the rest of the day, slowly this will wane off. You okay, Bhagavad Gita is there, Prabhuji has spoken something, but slowly. So that is the reason why regular touch and having association is important. Just be with these classes, Mataji. You will get the right kind of knowledge, and I'm sure if you put the right effort from your end also, you will know the purpose of your life. And each one of us are finding purpose in our life. I found to a great extent what is the purpose of my life, and I am pursuing it in the right way, not giving up any other thing. We will also see in this Gita, the T stands for two dharmas: your prescribed dharma and your Sanatan dharma. That means you need to pursue both, because you have this material body, your condition, the nature. So you have to, your dharma is associated with that. Arjuna was basically a military man, and he has a prescribed duty based on his varna and ashrama. So we will discuss that, Mataji. Thank you very much for posing that, and you will get to know in this 18 days. Thank you. Next person, Prabhu.
Dilip Prabhu.
Yeah, unmute Prabhu. Next person. Who is the next person who should be speaking?
Dilip Prabhu, you can ask your question.
Yeah, Dilip Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if Dilip Prabhu is not ready, then you can unmute the next person.
Krishna Prabhu, you can unmute and
Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu. Very happy to see you. The way you are interacting, I'm really happy. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I had this doubt when we were speaking of Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was told by my seniors that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also known as the Golden Avatar. So how is it the Golden Avatar, Prabhu?
See, first of all, as I told you, we do not accept any person whimsically. So it is mentioned in Bhavishya Puran. It is mentioned that who are the next avatars who are going to come, because Krishna has come personally 5,000 years back, but there are so many avatars. See, Krishna, there is a difference between avatar and avatari. Krishna himself came 5,000 years back, but as so many avatars are there, Kurma avatar is there, Matsya avatar is there, Vamana avatar is there, and in our Bhavishya Purans, they have mentioned that Sri Krishna will come in his golden form. And they have described about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not only about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they described about Jesus Christ also, Prophet Muhammad also. So there's so many things that have been mentioned in Bhavishya Purana, because Vedas are coming from the Supreme Lord himself, and he knows the past, present and future. So the predictions have happened and they're happening. But there are people who can fool you also on this. There is one mentioned that there is somebody called in the end of this millennium, there is one avatar called Kalki avatar, and he is Kalki Bhagwan. So just because it was mentioned in the Shastra, there is one person, a foolish person in Tamil Nadu somewhere, he proclaimed that I am the Kalki Bhagwan. And it is mentioned in the Shastra that Kalki Bhagwan comes in a horse, and he started learning the horse riding, and he fell down and broke his leg. These kind of fools are there, and who will. So that is the reason why you need to litmus test. Don't take it for granted. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So all three are important, and it is clearly mentioned in our Shastra, and our Gurus also, Sadhus also accepted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation. So we are also following. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So we will take few more questions.
Dilip Prabhu, you can ask your question.
So please switch on your videos, please. I wanted to see your face. Krishna Prabhu, I was not fortunate to see your face. Okay, you are there. Okay. You are in
Dilip
the
Prabhu.
dress. Okay, got it. Hare
Dilip
Krishna Prabhu. Go ahead. Yeah, Prabhuji, why don't you unmute? Dilip Prabhu is not yet ready, I think. So you can see, while that is going on, why don't you read from the chat if there are any questions? Yeah, some of you can also put it on chat if you have any questions. If not, we will end the next few minutes. No other question? Okay. Pooja Mataji, you can ask your question.
Pooja Mataji, unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So during discussion it was mentioned like Guru won't come to our life, we have to approach Guru. So I just wanted to know what are the qualifications or what are the things we should do if you want to approach a Guru.
Okay, so the characteristics or the qualifications of the disciple will also be discussed tomorrow. We will discuss that. But one of the things is that you need to submissively, if you see Arjuna's character, the way he is approached, he did not demand Krishna, make me your disciple. He's just submissively said, I request you, if you feel I am eligible, make me your disciple. So that is the kind of approach you need. These days, your gurus are, you pay me this much amount of money, you become my disciple. You touch my feet and I will give you a mantra and you become my disciple. Not like that. So the qualification of a disciple is that he should be, first of all, you should be non-envious of the Supreme Lord. That's one thing. But the main important thing is that you should be submissively asking questions. Because Guru and Shishya, the relationship is basically Adan Pradan. What I mean to say is that you are asking some questions submissively and Guru is answering. Because the relationship is more to do with the knowledge part. Because we are ignorant and Guru has got the right knowledge. So he is going to impart that knowledge to us. And for that, you need to submissively and humbly have that mindset to seek that knowledge. not in a demanding mode, not in any other mode. This is the way you should be able to do. Yeah. Yeah, Gordon, Raghunath Puri Prabhu, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, there is a question from Anant Prabhu. In Mahamantra, why are we taking Lord Rama name while there are many other avatars of Krishna?
Okay, so actually we will discuss the importance of Mahamantra. What is actually Mahamantra? What is the word Krishna means there? What is the word Rama means there? Will be discussed in detail. Please give us few sessions time. We will introduce what is Mahamantra and whether Rama mentioned there as Rama, or is there any higher reason for there that we are taking there. So please park this question, Prabhu. We will take it up at next point.
Okay, Prabhu. And there is a question that what would happen if Arjuna would not have become disciple in that battle time? So that's from Dilip Prabhu. So,
see, whatever should happen. Yeah. Prabhuji, can I answer that? Okay.
Yes,
so what happens is that if Arjuna was, see, in Hindi there is a saying, patta bhi nahi hilta bhagwan ke anumati ke bina. In Telugu also similar thing is there. Chimaina kuttadu Shiva agna lendi. So basically it all means to say that Krishna, see, Arjuna was not that kind of a person who got bewildered and all this. This is the Lord's arrangement to get Bhagavad Gita in our hands. He has made the arrangement such that Arjuna gets bewildered and he gets all that. So actually I can talk about that in greater detail, giving an example also. It's there in Gita Mahatyam. Adi Shankaracharya very nicely has compiled the Gita Mahatyam. Tomorrow sometimes we'll recite these slokas of Gita Mahatyam also, at least couple of them. So there it says that mother cow is like Vedas. Okay, all the spiritual knowledge. And out of that, the Krishna, who is a cowherd boy, and the calf is the Arjuna, and the cowherd boy comes and milks the cow. That is the essence of all Vedas have come in the form of a milk when he is milking and giving it to the calf, which the calf is drinking, and he is getting nourished. So basically what it means to say is that Krishna initially has to do such that the milk start flowing in the udder of the cow. So now the calf will come and drink. The Arjuna is compared to the calf. Krishna is the cowherd boy who is able to do that. And we in turn, the rest of the milk, once the calf is drinking to its sufficient level, then we can go and milk it for ourselves and we can also get nourished. So that is the analogy that is given about Bhagavad Gita and how it has come. So if Arjuna is not there, Krishna could have chosen anybody. And he is the lawmaker. He is the creator. He knows past, present and future. In the Vishwarupa, when Krishna shows, he tells that Arjuna, I have already decided that this war is one-sided. It will be, we are going to win this war. So become my instrument and fight. So that is the kind of a surrender nature. Once you have, you will also get the name. What is required, you will be getting. Krishna is going to bestow. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah,
one second, Prabhu. There is Shanmukh Prabhu.
Shanmukh Prabhu is trying to unmute and trying to ask questions. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, in Lalita Sahasranamam, the mother is the first one. I am the controller of this 9 Navagraha. I am the controller of this entire universe.
Okay.
So
your question is that why?
Yeah, she is the first one.
Durga.
Yeah, mother is the first one, and Mother is the control of whole universe, and the Navagrahas which we have listened.
So what is your question, Prabhu? You are
So
saying
you were
that
saying-
where is Krishna is coming into picture?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah, I am the, yeah.
Okay. See, if you see this, our Vedic literature also, and for that matter, Puranas also, have been divided into different segments. 6 of them come under the 3 gunas. 6 of them come under the tamasic guna, rajasic guna, and 6 come under the sattvic guna. So the people who are following the tamasic guna and tamasic demigods, we will justify that at later point of time, but get at a high level now. That based on your gunas, you are also given an opportunity to elevate your to the next level. If you are at a tamasic guna level, if you are asked to think about sattvic guna, immediately you cannot come. So the people who are at tamasic level, they go and approach Shiva and also the other demigods like Parvati and other demigods. So you might really get offended by when I say this, but there is a proper Guru Sadhu Shastra reference for all this. So just wait for a few more sessions, you will get the clarity, because Krishna is going to reveal who are these demigods and who are, see, there is Varuna, there is Indra, there is Ganesha. So who are all these? They are not ordinary people, definitely yes, but who are they in the right perspective? Krishna is going to reveal in Bhagavad Gita. So you'll get that perspective, Prabhu. Just wait for a few more sessions. We'll discuss that in more detail. Who is what? What is the role of each of these players? We will also know.
Yeah, Prabhu, we will take last 2 questions. One question is from Gopi Mataji. What is the better way of listening any mantra?
What is the better way to listen any mantra? See, Krishna says that all starts with Tat Shrunu. Shrunu means to listen. So you should just listen. Don't do anything. Suppose you are taking Hare Krishna mantra, just focus on the oral vibrations that are coming. Because mantra has got a biological effect on your body, and also that effect also purifies the environment also. See, they have proven so many things. We can run one video tomorrow, and I will show you what is the significance of mantra, how does it impact the physical nature and beyond. So that we will see. Please remind me, Prabhu, Prabhu, tomorrow we will run this video, a small short video on mantra. What is mantra and how does it impact? Yes.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, and last question, Prabhuji, I'm taking is from Pawan Kumar, Prabhu. Bhishma had potential to fight with Kauravas, but why did he played a vital role on behalf of Kauravas? He was on the Kaurav side. Yeah.
The question is that why did Bhishma choose to fight for Kauravas and against the Pandavas? Right? Is that the question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You see, sometimes in our life, we take decisions based on that we have to suffer. And he said in the Bhishma Parva, in the fag end, when he was leaving his body, when he was on that arrows, where a lot of blood was oozing, and he don't want to give up his body because he has that this boon that he can leave his body in the time that he desires. So he was saying that just because I have taken the wrong decision of being in the association and for working under the Kauravas, I am able to repay that that suffering. I have to suffer, and this blood is coming. Just imagine the kind of situation you are. You have to stay there without dying for so many days. but that too with so many wounds where blood is coming, how much suffering is there? So he has, see, they say that man is the creator of his own destiny, and he has chosen that and he has suffered for it. So what anybody can do? He might be, he knew that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He knew that he cannot win this war, but still because of his decision, same with Karna. Karna would have chosen not to fight and be in the side of Pandavas. But again, because of his own conditioned nature, he restricted himself that no, Duryodhana has given me honor and I have to repay back. And this is all what is happening. So unless and until you have a higher purpose in your life, these kind of purposes will take you nowhere. The same thing happened to Bhishma, same thing happened to Karna. So on whose side you are there and what kind of association you are in, that matters a lot. And that plays an important role in your life. And I request you all to make right decisions in your life. For that, take the help of Bhagavad Gita, which will put you in a place where you can take decisions and you can have right perspective and purpose in your life. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, so those who have questions, please reach out to us. You can right now we will have one what is a Google sheet where you can post your questions. For now, you can send it to me. I will take it up. And so the other thing is that please order your book if you have not yet done. Please order your kit of Bhagavad Gita, and that way it will always help you. Not for any other reason we are asking. We are doing it with no ulterior motives other than trying to impart that knowledge what Krishna has given via through Guru Parampara. With whatever capacity we have, we wanted to serve you. So we will end now, and we will do just a short kirtan and we'll end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for joining. See you all tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.